What's going on, guys? It's Jay Camaro here with another episode of Initial Thoughts, and today we're going to be taking a look at Payday 2, which was released on August 13th, 2013 for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC. It was developed by Overkill Software and published by 505 Games. Now, although this game is available on a DVD-ROM or a Blu-ray disc, it's mainly a downloadable game. 80% of its sales so far have been through digital releases because it's available both on the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Games on Demand as well as Steam as we speak. Um, so this is pretty much a digital game that was that's also available on a disc, and it's cheaper. So like my initial thoughts of this game will definitely reflect on the it is cheaper. So I'm not going to be putting it up there with like Grand Theft Auto 5 or Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist in terms of how much is in the game because it is only $39.99. And I was actually able to get it on the Xbox Live Games on Demand for $35. So in some areas you can get it cheaper than the full $39.99. A word of warning before I get started. If you do want to buy this game, on Amazon.com right now, they are offering the game in like a physical disc form for consoles, but I wouldn't buy it there, or at least I would look into the different sellers because most sellers are selling it for a full $60, but that's not how much it actually costs. It's only $30, so if you want to buy like a physical disc copy, you do need to make sure that you are paying for what it's worth and not being overcharged for a game that's only supposed to be $40. So let's just get into the episode. So this game is, to put it in a few words, it's a co-op bank robbery simulator, sort of. You have to plan all these different heists, and you go to different locations, like right here we're in a mall, and trying to destroy like a bunch of stuff. And right now we have to destroy $50,000 worth of stuff like windows and stuff. I know I just said stuff a lot. But anyway, and you have to make sure the civilians don't call the police, and then if the police get there, you have to kill them all. And it's definitely really hard to carry out a stealth heist. It's definitely possible. You can just go in and get what you need to do done without having the police show up, but it's really hard, and me and my friends have yet to accomplish it yet. There's different kinds of missions you can do. There's destruction missions, which is what we're playing right now. There's also bank robberies, and then multi-day missions, which will require you to like rob an area and then get away, and then usually like your van will blow up or something, and then you'll have to fight them off and go to a different location and stuff like that, which can take quite a while. Right here, I'm just going and destroying some laptops. The destruction missions are definitely hard because you really do have to destroy everything that can be destroyed. There's not a lot of destruction available in this game. You pretty much got your standard destroyed windows with like glass and stuff, and then you've got like small objects that you can destroy, but you can't like blow up buildings or anything like that. So we'll get started and talk first about the graphics. Now, this is a downloadable game, and it definitely doesn't take up as much storage space as a full game, but the graphics are pretty good, but they're kind of a mixed bag. In some areas they can be good, in others they can be pretty bad. So when you're outside a building, like what you saw at the beginning of this episode before we walked into the mall, the lighting engine is actually really good, and when you're in like a fall season environment where there's like a lot of oranges and bright colors and the sun is like shining down on the cars and pavement and stuff, it can look really, really nice. Except once you step inside, there's lots of washed out textures and some buildings that look very bland because there's not much, there. Some environments just don't really have that many polygons, and the textures aren't great. So in some areas they can look good, other areas they can look bad. The gun models are alright, they're not the best we've ever seen. And the environments are just okay. Some are better than others. Definitely at night, the game definitely does not look very good. If you're in like a daytime mission, it can definitely look a lot better. The frame rate too is also a mixed bag. In some areas, actually, like outside, I swear I was getting up to 60 frames per second, or nearly 60 frames per second. But when you step inside, sometimes the frame rate can drop down to as low as 15. So there's really no like frame rate cap. So you can go higher than 30 frames per second. But it's definitely you're not gonna be at 60 frames per second a lot. It's definitely pushing the consoles to their limits. I don't know if it's if they could have coded it better and gotten a little bit more performance out of it, or maybe just it's pushing the consoles as far as they can go. But in terms of frame rate, in some areas it's okay. In some areas it's just terrible. Like when you get into large firefights, when there's lots of people everywhere, you can definitely notice it. And it does interrupt the experience. But besides that, this is definitely a pretty good game in terms of giving you the feeling of actually robbing a bank. You know, you don't just walk in and just kill everyone and then steal cash. You have to plan out everything. And so let me before I get into like gameplay and stuff, let me just talk to you about how heists usually work. Now, in terms of a bank heist, this is what usually happens. You start it at the menu. You can have up to 4 friends. You can play with AI, but I would recommend not and finding 3 other people, because the AI, although they're good in terms of like shooting cops and reviving you, they can't pick up anything. So when you have to grab like 4 or 5 money bags and get them to a truck, you have to go back and forth every single time to get it. So it's definitely better to play with real people, and you can both match make, and you can like they can assign just random people, and then you can play it to 3 other friends. But anyway, let's just get back to it. So you get any of your 4 friends, and you can actually customize your character, and like you can they're called skill trees, and you can make your soldier, your person, your bank robber, just in terms of like what they can do. So you have 4 skills trees that you can gain experience in. Mastermind, which is like you can revive people and stuff like that. Enforcer, you get a bunch of heavy weapons. You can just mow down enemies and stuff like that. Technician, you can like hack cameras and computers and security cameras and stuff like that. Alarms. And then Ghost is like stealth, getting like suppressors for weapons and taking out people without raising any alarms. But anyone can play anything, so you don't have to only have 1 mastermind. You can have like 3 masterminds and 1 technician. But I would recommend each person specializing in a certain task, so you can carry out everything good. So you go in, and then you have a certain amount of time where you actually don't have to put on your mask. You can just walk around and check out everything, see where the security cameras and the guards are. If you get too close or like stand around for too long, they will notice, and the heist will start. You're gonna have to put on your mask and stuff, but you can actually stay in that mode for as long as you really want. So you can really map out the environment very accurately before you start your heist. And the maps actually do change slightly every different heist. Like there's one bank where there's actually 3 areas the vault may be. And then, of course, security cameras are placed in different areas. Guards are armed with different weapons. There's certain amounts of guards and stuff like that. So definitely every time you are experiencing a different overall heist, and you definitely can't like just memorize everything. You always have to expect the unexpected. So you can walk in, and then once you start the heist, you can, unless like somebody finds you and somebody like calls the cops, you can pull off a heist without alerting any police officers. So if you get all the civilians like down on the ground, you can take hostages. By default, you have 2 zip ties, and then you can take 2 hostages. But if you specialize in one of the 4 skill trees, you can get quite a few more. And the hostages are pretty much used for exchanging with the police. So like if one of your members of your team go down, go down into like down but not out mode, kind of where like last stand with a pistol, for too many times, they can actually get arrested and be out of the game until either there's a timer that goes down depending on the amount of police you've killed and stuff like that. And then they'll let you back in, but you can do it really quickly and just exchange a hostage for one of your men, which is pretty nice. So that's why you want to take as many hostages as possible. But then there's lots of different things that can go wrong, like security cameras. Sometimes you have to answer a guard's pager, so the other people won't notice that anything's going on and send the police. Sometimes you have to shut off alarms, and everything that really goes into making a heist feeling as accurate as possible. Of course, I've never robbed a bank. I would never want to rob a bank, and I've never really seen anyone rob a bank, so I don't know how accurate this is to real life. I don't know if 4 men can withstand an attack from like 50 police officers, but you know, it does give you the feeling that you're actually robbing a bank. I think. Like I said, I don't really know exactly what goes into robbing a real bank, but it's probably not this easy. But the game can get quite hard actually, especially during assaults. They can send in like kind of like juggernauts. They can send in like juggernauts and special assault troopers and stuff. It's not all just like beat cops with their pistols. Um, but so. Then you have to usually get like a drill to drill into a safe and steal money. Of course, in some missions you don't have to do that, but most of the time you have to get this drill, and it takes a while and it breaks a lot. It's really annoying. It's called the thermal drill, and you have to break into a safe, and then once you break into the safe, either you just pick up the cash and you instantly get it, like I just did right there, or actually go inside that safe, pull out like a money bag, and then you can carry one money bag at a time, except your camera kind of like tilts to the right, and then you walk a little bit slower, and you have to get out there and put it in the van or somewhere. But that's usually how heist works. Like I said, most of the time the cops are alerted and they do come, but it is possible to pull off a heist without alerting anyone. So in terms of the gameplay, there's really one main way to take out your enemies. It's really just through weapons. There are some crude melee attacks that you can do, but most of the time you're just going to be arming yourself with as many like special assault rifles and pistols as you possibly can. And you can get different attachments for weapons, but you don't make a ton of money unless you do the multi-day heists. Like these are just like the quick heists. It's just one thing. Once you get the cash or destroy it or complete a certain objective, you leave, and then that's it. But the multi-day heists are where all the money is, and then you can use that money to gain experience and different attachments and make the other heists easier to do. But the gunplay is okay. It's definitely not as polished as games like Battlefield or Call of Duty, but the weapons do have an accurate feeling of recoil, and they do move around a lot, and you're definitely going to want to burst fire. You don't want to just go with like the M16 like I am right now and just like spray everyone, because there is a lot of upkick on the weapon, which is pretty accurate, and I do like that. And then of course you get a pistol that you can customize, and you do run out of ammo sometimes, which is why you're definitely going to want to have a squad member play the skill tree that will allow them to put down like an ammo kit, which is pretty cool. That's actually that's the enforcer, and that's what I'm actually specializing in, because it's easier. I'm terrible at stealth, and I would rather just go around just killing everybody. But that's just how I play, and a lot of my friends are specializing in ghosts. So sometimes, like, if something goes wrong, you know, like, then I can pull out my gun and kill everybody, but we definitely try to complete it, like, stealthy. But that's pretty much it. It's definitely a multiplayer-focused game. There is a single-player aspect that you can play alone, but it's really a game that you want to play with friends. You want to convince as many people to get this game as possible, which is why I actually wanted to get this game a while ago, but none of my friends would buy it, and then finally one of them did, and so we've just been playing it a ton. But you definitely want to play with real people, because the single player is not that good, but when it is a multiplayer game, and when you have 4 squad mates, specializing in different trees and carrying out things at a different time, it is a really, really fun game, and there are some really intense moments that you can, you know, like fighting off just waves and waves of troopers, without going down, or trying to kill those security guards without setting off alarms. But it's definitely one of the most creative first-person shooters I've ever played, and it gives you a different like feeling that you're not a soldier, but you're just a normal person walking in and killing people and robbing banks and stuff. But so, like I said, you can buy this game digitally on all the 2 main consoles, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and then you can buy it on Steam on the PC. But that's pretty much the end of this video. All in all, this is a really nice first-person shooter, and it was really fun to play during the summer when there was really no new games coming out. And I would definitely recommend picking it up if you're into like squad-based co-op shooters. It's definitely one of my favorite shooters of this year so far. So if you guys like this video, please thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.